Hi, friends. Thanks for tuning in to the Mental Fitness Unscripted podcast, where our conversation will encourage your healthy living journey. Inspired by our Team Quadzilla coaching motto, healthy living starts between your ears, we talk about mental fitness in ways that challenge us to think about our thinking regarding topics like habits, leadership, exercise, values, marriage, parenting, and faith. Our hope with this podcast is to sharpen you as we sharpen ourselves to be all we were made to be. So let's dive right into the conversation on this episode of Mental Fitness Unscripted.
Well,
Happens every time.
Happens every time. Well, good morning, Chad. You know, it's funny.
Good morning.
We were just visiting, and what do you want to talk about? I don't know. And we just got discussing things, and all of a sudden, it was something I mentioned that Chad had written in his journal that we hadn't even commiserated or commented on. Anyway, so here we are again.
Yes. Yeah, completely unplanned, unscripted. You know, somebody's probably going to think that's ridiculous, but however, I feel like we get inspired.
I was going to just say we were just directed. So anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, we were talking about paving the way when things are good for when things aren't good. Can I put it?
Yeah. So I'm with you. You had just said before we pushed to record that I'm in a stage with my work where I have just survived a whole lot of chaos for months. And now it's, you know, steady and even, maybe even a little slow. But then I know that the next storm is coming right after the holidays. So January, February, March, and on is just, it's going to be another big wave. And so we had just commented that in this time, we feel like rest, but that can also get lazy and complacent. And it's really an opportunity to be doubling down and thinking about how do I improve and optimize and prepare and get ready for the next really big thing. And man, I was just writing about that today. And in specific, something that we had talked about before, I confessed in my journal that I've gotten so bad at doom scrolling lately, and I think it's part of me not being, I'm bored. I'm not technically bored, but in those moments, I'm not being very intentional, and I end up doom scrolling, and I'm like, what are you doing? And so today, I cut it off. It's not on my computer anymore. I haven't had it on my phone for months, and it's been amazing. But all I did was trade it for my computer, and that's just, I'm so weak and lame with that. So I just finally had to cut it off.
Isn't that funny that we have that lull in the battle?
Yeah.
And we find ourselves not challenged.
Yep.
And so we immediately run for the comfort and entertainment of things.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, really, that how easy that happens. You know, and I can sit here and think social media can be good. I can use it for good. And so I'll go on there, I'll do my thing, I'll post my video or whatever, and I'll get out of there. It never happens. As soon as I post a thing, I just start looking through the news feed, and then the next thing you know, 20 minutes are gone, and I'm like, ah.
Well, that 20 minutes goes so fast, and you know, you just click on it. Oh, it's only 3 minutes. Oh, well, that was interesting. This one's 7 minutes. And what's funny is we don't do the math. It's just that 3 minutes or the 2 minutes or the, you know, even the one. But it's funny because this is the book I've been working through a little bit in the past here.
Missing Secret. Okay.
Yeah, the past 3 or 4 weeks. And what's funny is his this is the author. It's John Mitchell.
Okay.
Anyway, his his whole thing is that 95% of our waking world, we operate in an unconscious state.
Yeah, I've heard something like that before.
Well,
Everything's on autopilot.
yeah,
Yeah.
Darren Hardy talks about that,
Yep.
and I've heard Darren Hardy talk about that. Well, and others, but primarily Darren Hardy. But I've thought, okay, how do I make myself more conscious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and I've not been successful because I have the same tendency. Okay, things are
Mm.
good, it's Friday, and by the way, it is really Friday today.
Yeah. Right.
But it's Friday. Everybody's going to be gone from work. I'm not going to call them. I'll call them Monday. And the gutters need cleaned out, and and you sit here and you do all this stuff, and you've got this big list of to-dos. And his point is work with the unconscious
Mm.
and program yourself with the intention of what you want, but you've got to. It's almost like we've lied to ourselves. I see there's two parts of us. There's the subconscious and the conscious in our brain,
Mm-hmm.
and you've probably heard this before. But we've lied to ourselves so often and for so long that our subconscious goes, "Really? That's your intention?"
Mm.
It's almost like you have to convince it. And so
Yeah.
that's I'm kind of summarizing the book here, but that's the missing secret is working with the 95 instead of becoming more conscious. He says go ahead and work with the unconscious, but you got to program it to do what you want it to do
Mm-hmm.
instead of just
Yeah.
letting it run all by itself,
Yeah.
because we will go right to the doom scrolling, we will go right to the
Yeah.
Netflix, we will go right to the ice cream. I mean, it's
Pick your poison. Yep.
it's almost like we're drawn to it, and
Yes.
like a moth to the flame, and we singe our wings and stand up and go, "What have I done?" So anyway,
Yeah.
it's funny. You're reading Atomic Habits. I can see it on your desk there,
Yep.
and how these kind of intertwine, because those habits you've got to program that unconscious part of yourself
Yeah.
that's operating so that it becomes a habit, so that you're doing the right thing. And so it's almost like you have to, um, I don't want to use the word convince, but you've got to for lack of a better word,
That's what it is.
you've got to convince your unconscious self that this is my operating system. And the point he makes in this book, I didn't mean for this to be a book review, but it's so funny that this is all coming.
No, it makes perfect sense.
He says we have a beautiful hardware system in our brain with the subconscious and the conscious. He said, and we have a beautiful operating system. The problem is if we don't reload it every day,
Mm.
it'll just go on its own.
Mm.
And so if we
That's
if we
that's Romans 12:2.
it really
Renew
is.
your mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we've got to reload that every day, every day.
Yeah.
And so he has you put together, and I'll just share it, but he has you put together the operating system that you have to do every day.
Hmm.
And that's what the book is about. It's been really good. This is Ty. Have you ever read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
It's on my list. I have not got to that
Okay.
one yet.
It's interesting. I've read it many times, and it's there's always just this. Well, what is it? But okay, what's the silver bullet here?
Mm.
And he kind of teases you with it. Excuse me, it's a great book. Don't get me wrong, but he kind of teases you with it. Okay, if you do the thing, well, what's the thing? And that's what this guy was fighting is
Uh,
what's the thing? And so, as you can see, it's the
yes.
it's the
Okay.
missing secret of
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
little plug for a book there.
Yeah. Well, it's you reminded me very much because I'm up to my eyeballs in Atomic Habits.
Great
And
book.
you know,
James
he
Clear is
says that
awesome.
you have to make, because of our subconscious and how we operate so much on autopilot, we have to figure out ways to make the thing obvious, easy, attractive,
Yep.
satisfying. When you can do those things, then you can kind of steer your subconscious to what you want it to be. Um, but it requires some intentionality there and some rewiring,
Yeah.
and
And that's why
that's
you've got
not
to do it every
easy.
day.
Yeah, you have to be consistent. You have to play the long game. Um, he says things like, it's not how long you do the thing, it's how many times you do the thing. And ideas like that that I think are very interesting way to think about how to get us where we want to be. Because I was I've read this stuff so many times, and yet here I am, a victim of my own lazy subconscious that just gets sucked right into the doom scrolling. Like, you've got to fix this. It's not. Time is so valuable
Oh,
and
yeah.
so short,
Yeah.
goes by so fast, and to waste so much of it on that, just ugh.
Yeah. Time's incredible. And sometime I'd love to talk about that because we could talk about time forever. Okay.
Mm,
Um, I'll just show you. I wear a watch. It is an analog watch.
yeah,
Okay. Have I
yeah.
shared this with you before?
About your compulsion to make watches.
Well, I want that too, but
Mm,
I also wear a compass on my watch.
okay.
And the reason is because we get so deadline focused that sometimes we forget. I got to get in front of
Yeah,
it. Sometimes we forget
yeah.
what path we're on. Stephen Covey put it one time. He said, we're so busy climbing the ladder, we forget to see which wall we put the ladder against.
Mm,
And so I wear a compass to remind me that, okay, yes, time's absolutely precious. I mean, it's invaluable. And, we talk about saving time, and you can't save it.
no, there's no such thing.
Yeah, no, you can invest it, you can use it, you can waste it, but you can't save it.
Yeah.
You can't put it off. And anyway, so, that reminds me of that, but it's also,
Yes.
am I headed the right direction?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think uh, we lack awareness.
Well,
Everyone everyone likes to think that they're so self-aware that I know who I am, I know what I'm doing. No, we don't. No, we do.
and see, when Darren Hardy first started sharing that idea that 90 to 95% of my life is run unconsciously, I
Yeah.
I was I was actually mad. It's like, no, there's
Mm,
no way. I am
yeah.
totally I'm totally, I'm this guy,
Yeah. I'm locked in. I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Mhm. And then I find myself doom scrolling or watching, binge watching Netflix or something, and it's like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How did this bag of chips, this family-sized bag of chips, disappear?
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
the serving size of a bag of M&Ms is however big the bag is, right?
Seems to be.
That's one serving.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Seems to be because we're not quitters.
well, and we're not, and it's just this hand to mouth thing, and pretty soon you have
I
this
know.
realization, oh my gosh, I just ate that
Yeah.
bag of M&Ms.
Yeah.
I just ate 3,000 calories of M&Ms. Woo!
Uh,
And I did it in
yeah.
one show, and that's about 8 hours of 8 hours of exercise.
Mm,
Great.
brutal. Yeah.
Oh, But that, the point is that we have to be intentional. We have to, and I love what this guy is purporting is that we have to reload the operating system.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Yeah, it's so good. So what are the tricks to doing that? I mean, I already mentioned Romans 12:2 that says that we have to renew our mind because I mean scripture is filled with these ideas of guarding your heart, which is another way of saying, be aware of what you're thinking. And sometimes our thinking is just wrong and we have to recalibrate, but it's important that we're doing so to what's right and true, you know. And so how are we doing this? And can we do it better? I'm asking for myself because clearly I still need some work.
Well, here's what I'm realizing is that we're programming ourselves, we're reloading the operating system all the time. The
Yeah.
problem is we're doing it unconsciously. And if we're doing
Hmm.
that when we get on the doom scroll, now we're programming it with that. Whatever's
Yes.
on there, okay? If I choose to do that, or I choose to read a good book, or it comes down to choices of what am I programming myself to. Um,
Hmm.
and so I'm going to say we're always programming ourselves.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
this right here, I could be somewhere else, Chad. I could. Okay,
Yep.
but I choose to be here with you, and it was a conscious thing when we first started. It was kind of awkward
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
messy. Do I really like this guy Todd, and is he adding to my life? And so it's just kind of this awkward thing. And at first it was like, oh man, oh yeah, it's Friday. I've got to get on the phone, and pretty soon it became this, man, I'm looking forward to talking to Chad. And
Yeah.
it's like anything. What's funny is, we had our kids here. My wife did a lot of work. Her back was hurting last night. She had a miserable night. She finally invited me to go somewhere else and sleep, um, and that was out of being nice. She just
Hmm.
didn't get comfortable, and she says, "I'm keeping you up. I'm sorry. Go sleep somewhere else." And so I slept in the guest bedroom. Well, man, it was 1 o'clock before I got to sleep, trying to help her,
Mm.
and the idea of getting up at 4:30 to go work out
Oof. Yeah.
after, not getting in bed until 1, um, it just wasn't going to happen. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, things happen, but what you've got to do is you've got to reset yourself and say, back to Romans 12.
Mm.
I've got to retell myself what I'm doing today.
Yes. Yes. I
And
love how James Clear says it in framing it to our identity. And he says,
oh yeah,
who am I trying to become? Or I'm the type of person who fill in the blank. And this is part of the renewing your mind and the rewiring that I think really matters because when we tie the activity to who we are, it's more likely to stick than if we're just saying that we're going to do something. And
yeah.
so that's one of the things that I'm trying to work on is, you know,
How do I identify?
Chad is not the type of person that wastes his time doom scrolling. So how do I reinforce that in my behavior because this is who I'm aiming to be?
Right. And I love that you just said this. We have to redirect our aim. We're
Yeah.
we're a missile right now, okay? And
Mm.
we're already fired. The engine's
Yeah.
running, okay? We're
Right.
already, I mean, we're in flight. And so we have to guide ourselves to what we want.
Yeah.
We often say, "Oh, well, I'm going to take a timeout, or a reset, or no, we're fired. It's we're on the way, man."
Yeah. No, I like that. That's very true.
um, and back to my compass. Am I headed the right direction? And that's
Yeah.
that's why we. And yes, we get off direction. Okay,
Hmm.
it'll happen. I'll bet James Clear, even though he wrote the book, is still
Yep.
fighting to get his habits put in place. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're very distractible. Is that a word? Distractible.
It is now.
I love it.
It is now. Yeah. Because it's very true. I mean, we are the squirrels, you know.
Yeah, the squirrel
We're
seekers, man.
yeah, we're all over the place,
And
skittish and
yeah,
shiny objects and the whole thing.
yeah, and so I love that you brought this up. That we've just got to, while we're in flight, we've just got to recalibrate and say, I've got to go over here.
Yeah.
Oops, the wind knocked me off course. I got to go over here.
Yeah. Checking in all the time. Yeah.
And then, well, the identity that you brought up from James Clear, I love his example of that identity. He uses smokers, some people that want to
Hmm.
quit smoking.
Yeah.
And he says the people that say that they're quitting smoking will smoke because that's what they're programming. And I'll give you an example that I use in some of my training when I'm coaching people. Chad, I want you to not think about a red car.
Yeah. It's
Okay?
impossible.
I want you to not think about a purple giraffe.
Yeah.
Okay? And the problem is that we cannot conceive a picture of don't or can't or
Mm.
okay. By the way, we just got the 10-minute warning. So
Okay.
uh, the brain can't make a picture of that. But if I say purple giraffe, you come up with the picture. Okay.
Hmm.
If I said a dog, don't think of a dog, Chad. What's funny is
Mm.
your picture of a dog, and we talked about words, the definition mattering, but your picture in your head of a dog will be totally different than my picture of a dog.
Yep.
Okay, totally different. And it's based on our experience. It's based on, the last dog I saw, or the one that I love the most, or the one that bit me. And what's funny is we'll associate an experience and an emotion with that.
Mm. Yes.
So if I say, don't think of a dog, and I'm in a group of people, there will be people there that have been bitten by a dog and hate dogs, or are frightened of them, or whatever emotion is tied to that. There will be some that they can hardly wait to get out of the meeting to go home to be with their dog because I'm boring.
Mm.
Okay, and
Yep.
so you've got
It's
all
all
these,
of it.
yeah, you've got all of this stuff, and then we try and talk to each other, and we're coming from different places, and so the identity is so important. Back to the smoker. If if I program myself, I'm quitting smoking. Well, what does that look like? Who who is that?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a quitter smoker. Okay. And then the example that he uses in the book is taking on the identity of I'm a non-smoker.
Right. Yep. It sounds like mental gymnastics,
Or
but
even
it
somatic.
really,
Yeah,
yeah, it really isn't because it's how you're renewing your mind and and it's not just about doing or not doing, it's about being and tying it to identity. And I think that for the longest time had been a missing idea in my approach to goal achievement or habit formation or whatever
yeah,
is not associating it with who I actually am or who I'm aiming to be. And so that's to me that's a key answer to the question of how do I
exactly.
how do I do this?
So if we take on that identity of whatever it is we want, what's the outcome? And it can be whatever you want it to be. But there are behaviors that are principled, and we've talked about this before. We can
Hmm.
talk about it some more, but there are behaviors that are principled to that identity.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I may not be a runner. Okay. I may not be a runner, but if I take on that identity, now I've got to go put my shoes on and go out and run. And that's the
Hmm.
behavior I've got to do. And what's funny is that by doing those behaviors, to your point, now I've become
Yep.
or
It just
becoming.
happens.
It just happens because of those behaviors that I've chosen to take
Right.
on. And see, that comes back to that intentionality. Okay, I'm going to be a runner. You may not
Yep.
be a runner. You know, you may be overweight and you haven't run for the last 20 years or whatever. But if you take on that identity, I am a runner, and you
Yep.
put on your shoes and you go out and do it, that behavior over time, and back to James Clear again, it's not the time, but it's the number of times
Yes.
that makes that identity.
Yeah.
I can put a patch on my shoulder and say, man, I'm a special forces soldier. That that looks really good. And you can go out and fake it, but that doesn't make you one.
Right.
And the real special forces soldier, and I'm probably going to get in trouble here, but they call themselves quiet professionals. Okay. um,
They're not going to broadcast that
they're not going
anyway.
to
Yeah.
broadcast it. You may have to interrogate this guy to find out that he is a special forces soldier.
Hmm.
Okay. And with that comes a confidence, because he's gone through the crucible of being able to do that. And, then he is. The Navy
Right.
SEALs have a saying, and I really like it. Did you earn your trident today? So there's a badge that they get after they go
Mm.
through all their training and all their vetting and the selection process. They get a badge, and it can be taken away. Okay,
Hmm.
it can be taken away. But they have a saying: "Did you earn your trident today?" So it's an everyday process. It's not just this.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, it's like your medals. You've done the bike races and you get the medal. How long is that medal good for?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty meaningless for the next event.
Means nothing. I mean, I've
Yeah.
got one right there that I display. It's actually three, but so that that's three races, and if you do the right three races, they do what they call a trifecta, and so that's a trifecta right there. But it means nothing. Yeah, I did it. So what?
Hmm.
What am I doing now?
Exactly. Right.
What's my identity now?
Mm. Fantastic.
I mean, it's a good reminder for the next time I'm going to go. Oh, hey, I've done that.
Yeah. You know that you can.
Or I can apply it to the next thing that's challenging me. You know what? I felt challenged when I was doing this, and I made it.
Yeah.
So I'll put that to work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did this discussion go where you wanted to go?
Yeah. I mean, it always comes back to being intentional and being responsible for our choices and having a big picture view and associating with the person who I'm aiming to be rather than just trying to accomplish a particular task because it's very short-sighted otherwise. We have to we're less likely to betray ourselves if we associate the thing with who we're aiming to be as who we are. And so that's a thing for me is I want to be the type of person who does not waste his life doom scrolling, and I got to figure that out.
Yeah. Just one more comment. We've got 2 minutes. we've got to give ourselves grace and forgiveness if we catch ourselves doom
Mm,
scrolling, okay? Because
yeah.
you can drive that emotion. Oh, see, there I am, and
Mm,
you'll deny yourself, or you'll divest yourself of that identity that you've taken on that you want to be.
mm,
You'll take
yeah,
on a
that's
new
good.
identity. See, I just suck.
Yeah.
Just
No, that's good.
I'm just a slug. No, you've got to be forgiving of yourself and say, you know what? Okay, sometimes I win, sometimes I learn. What am I learning here?
Amen.
I'm
Boy,
not
that's good.
winning, but what am I learning?
Yes. Love that.
And then you go back to that identity that you're seeking.
Yep.
If I miss a morning running, okay, cool. I missed the morning running. I'm a runner, so what am I going to do in the morning tomorrow?
Don't miss two, right? Yeah.
And
Awesome stuff.
that goes back to where we started. When
Yep.
I'm in that lull, I've got to double down on who I really
Yes.
want to be. So
Yep.
instead of going to comfort, well, see, I never was a runner. I guess I'll just go back to the couch and the potato chips.
Mm.
I
Fantastic.
had a coach one time. He said, "When you get a flat tire, don't flatten the other three so that they all match. Fix the
Yeah.
tire." Okay. Well, thank you. Good discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I hope you feel better.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Have a great week.
I'll pray for you. See ya.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
Todd.